Down through 11 goes Alex on the brakes, and now he'll bank it left through turn 12. Said yesterday just couldn't get into a groove, riding tense, riding stiff, understandably so. And when you're not sort of just flowing with your natural riding style, it becomes more physically taxing because you're having to think about your next move rather than it just coming naturally. Fair play to Alex. So once again, he's delivering big time. Just gone up into 5th place for the 129.920. I'm not sure how many more risks Alex will be willing to take here, because I think top 6 will be a brilliant result for him.
Particularly given the riders that are ahead of him. Zarco, Bezzecchi and Morbidelli between himself and Marquez at the moment. Alex, I guess, would back himself to see and pick those riders off as we go through the sprint later on, of course, which could be in very similar situations to this. Fabio Quartararo returns to the racetrack then. He was looking rather fed up and pensive, wasn't he, in the box a few moments ago.
Well, they're trying their best to get close to Mark. Zarco and Bezzecchi have improved down to a pair of 128.9, which is very respectable lap times given the current conditions here in Germany. But at the moment, as we've seen so often in the past, Marquez just in a class of his own. That was the big scare going through turn 11. You can see there. There's going to be a gesture coming up here. Yeah, calm down, Mark, tranquilo. We don't need to be out there taking so many big risks. As we're moving into the final 3.5 minutes of this session, a real disaster session as far as Maverick Vinales goes. Jack, it looks like it's game over.
Yeah, unfortunately for Maverick Vinales, it looks as though it is session over. Gloves are coming off, helmets are coming off. Even if he is able to get back to the box now, I'm not sure he's going to have the time to be able to get out there and post a lap time. Great shame for Maverick, who I'm sure would have been confident of being up there on the front 2 rows.
Absolutely. Well, he's seeing the rider who he advanced out of Q1 with Johan Zarco fighting for the front row. Zarco in 2nd place. So you always do fear when a rider tumbles out early on in Q2 sessions whether they're really damaging their qualifying prospects, their grid position prospects. Well, that's going to be the tail of the tape as far as Vinales is concerned.
Nothing coming here for Pecco Bagnaia, 1.6 off the pace. He might get himself onto the 3rd row with this lap, but that's about it. Jack Miller has just, credit to Jack, gone up into 7th. Bezzecchi now into 2nd place, and he's cut the gap down to half a second. They are chipping away at Marc Marquez's advantage here.
Well, it was Mark versus Marco in the Grand Prix in Assen a couple of weeks ago, and those two are jousting it out for pole position here now, aren't they? In Sachsenring, Morbidelli did look strong in FP2 earlier on today in certain, well, in mixed conditions. They weren't certainly full wet, certainly weren't full dry, but Morbidelli has put himself on the front row of the grid. It's the 2nd time potentially this season for Frankie. What about Fabio Di Gianantonio, who was electric in the dry conditions yesterday? At least with the rain, his all-time lap record will stand. But at the moment, Digia 6 for the 129.327.
Zarco here, look, he's right in touch at the halfway point with Marc Marquez. He's essentially following his own MO from qualifying 1. Just keep getting faster and faster as the session unfolds. He'll get over the line here for 1 more lap, but only 1 more, I would suggest, from here. Johan Zarco, as he now drops down from the waterfall. He's right on Marc Marquez's time. 2/1000 of a second down. He's not had a pole position since Silverstone in 2022. Almost 3 years ago. Look at this by Johan Zarco, putting Marquez under the cosh here potentially in Germany. Through the final corner he goes. We can pick him out through the spray. Where is this lap taking Zarco? Over the line he goes. It's 2nd. Oh, it's close. It was mighty tight at the top. Zarco missing out at the moment by just 600ths, but he has still got this lap. And he's continuing to just improve upon every single lap. Acosta did not on that last lap. He is still 5th. Pecco Bagnaia once again, personal best, but it's a 29.9. Bagnaia still nailed down in 10th. Bagnaia, this is going to sting, isn't it? He's just nowhere compared to the pace of Mark. 1.8 seconds behind his teammate. Zarco, I think, just running away from him a little bit on this final lap, as you can see. He's struggling for pace, certainly through the first sector. Let's see how he's getting on. Tracking through Sector 2, well, Sector 2, fair play to him, he's absolutely mullered
Marquez. This looks like it's a showdown, doesn't it, between Zarco and Marquez for pole.
Bezzecchi might be in this too. He's of course gone in for a fresh soft rear tyre in this session, having started on the medium. Bezzecchi also going quickly. Marquez 2/10 up, so he's set to set the first 1:27 of this Q2 session, but it won't be the only one.
He's about to tip into his second century poles here. 101 poles beckoning for Marquez in his career. But Zarco, what a fight he's putting up for LCR Honda. Out of the final corner, out of Queckenberg goes Marquez. He's into the 27s, a 1:27.811. Zarco needs something extra special here late on. It's gone. He is in the 27s. Surely it's going to be a front row start for just a second time this season for Zarco. Look at Frankie Morbidelli. Now,
Mark's watching the same screens we are. He can see that Morbidelli
he's gone down.
When he was potentially on course to take pole.
Morbidelli's gone down then at, that looks like turn 8, which is a pretty rapid get-off for Frankie. Marco Bezzecchi on the factory Aprilia. Front row of the grid for the first time on the RSGP. Life going rather swimmingly right now for Bezzecchi after his double podium last time out in Assen. Yeah, it is into 8 for Morbidelli. This is fast. Oh, he just squirted the power back on there, didn't he? I don't know if he just maybe took a little bit of weight off the front tyre. That's a high-speed get-off for Frankie Morbidelli. Well, I guess we'll never know whether he'd have carried that lap on through if he was going to deny Marquez what is yet another pole position here at the Sachsenring. That is pole number 8 in MotoGP here for the 32-year-old. They just keep getting, well, racking up the poles for fun, isn't he, right now? That is Premier Class pole 73, career pole number 101. Took him by a 10.5 at the checkered flag by the brilliant Johann Zarco. What a Saturday he's had so far. P1 in Q1, now P2 in Q2. Zarco on the front row with Marco Bezzecchi. Pecco Bagnaia had an absolute howler